My brother.
What up, what up? It's the homie Mac, music art culture knowledge. My homie Manny from the Shy. I always say, by the time I turned 21, I lived in 8 different states. And I always bumped into somebody from Chicago. That was solid.
Okay.
So he's carrying on that tradition. Like,
Oh, for sure.
but let the people know who you be, man.
Okay. I'm Manny. Some people call me E. I'm from the south side of Chicago. Been in Atlanta for like 20 plus years. Master barber.
Facts.
A couple of things, but right now I'm into the entrepreneurship thing and brand building, and just restoring and building relationships.
Yeah, that's real. Yeah. Okay, so put me in the mind frame of the average child growing up in Chicago in the 80s. What was that like? Take your time, bro.
You know what? When you was growing up in it and you was experiencing it, you didn't think nothing of it. It was the norm. Because I think back then we didn't have the distractions of cell phones. We didn't really have distractions of a lot of video games. You had the little bullshit ping pong and Atari was just on the scene, but you know,
Right.
so we had to be creative. So
Gotcha.
we adapt fast. So we were chameleon-like. So whatever environment you put us in, we had to transform. So when I went from growing up in a 2-parent neighborhood off on Green Street, 102nd, where everybody had the mother and father, you know, you're this type. Now it's Chicago, so on the south side, the street organization element is going to always be there.
Okay.
And it was different back then because when you seen it going into play, it wasn't what you seen depicted on the movies back then when they used to have the white boys with the cut off leather vests,
Right.
jumping around the car and got the band. Man, that's goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Y'all gotta excuse the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
so it was like, it wasn't nothing for you to be coming from the store one night and come over to a park like this and you see like 300-400 guys over there.
Wow.
And you know what time it is, and as a shorty, you know, it ain't none of your business. You gone, really don't pertain to you.
Right.
So growing up, it was like, man, a lot of things, you became a product in your environment.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you just had to adapt. So, I mean, I had to adapt so many times from like growing up in there to moving to Hyde Park, to moving to the projects, moving to the Wild Wild Hundreds. So it was a lot of.
You were all over the city.
Man, listen, South Side.
Oh, I always thought the Wild Hunters was the West. It's not.
Wild Wild Hundreds, that's like Roseland, Michigan, that's all South.
Ah, okay.
Low end, that's the South.
Okay.
And I know you hear a lot low end and a lot of Wild Wild. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, you said things moved faster. What do you mean by that?
Because just being in the city, period, you know, things happen in the blink of an eye.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, man, it's like you can be walking down the street and there's somebody come around the corner and ask you what time it is, and then and a second breath is, you know, they need a watch so they can tell time, so they don't have to ask you. You see how fast that just changed from a person just asking you what time it is, you being Joe, to man, like, let me get that, you know, politely, let me get that watch on. You get what I'm saying?
Like
So,
that.
yeah, it was fast. Everything, man. Listen, yeah, man. It was good though, but I wouldn't. I know my child wouldn't do well in it. I don't think like none of this young generation would do well in it because if growing up in Chicago, if you were affiliated with any type of street organization, it wasn't because
You wanted to do it.
yeah, no, man. It was almost you damn near had to get for real, you had to get like references and everything. So, but if they knew that like your cousin is a snitch, your brother, and they be doing this, and you want them, they not fucking with you.
That's deep.
Yeah, it wasn't like it is now, where it's 6 of y'all together and y'all watch some YouTube videos, learn to twist y'all fingers and shit. Man, for real, dog. Cause real, back in Chicago, if you was claiming that, and somebody who was really that came and asked you,
yes, stand on that.
And no, you can stand on what you want, but if you ain't ready to tell me what I need to hear to quantify you and tell me that you part of this thing, well, it's gonna, man,
be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I done seen cats get tattoos, burned off, cigars, all types of stuff. Yeah, so, but now it's just it's a fun thing. It's like a club,
Right.
It's just a club, and then everybody. Turning their heads and shooting and everything. And,
holding them sideways.
Yeah. Looking in the wrong direction and shit, running and shooting and shit. I see the video of these cats the other day, man. They was talking about that. I said, man, ain't nothing slick about being about the life, though. That's the thing about it. And if anybody that was on some gangster shit back in the 80s and 90s that was about force, well, 9 times out of 10, they don't even like pistols and drama no more. They don't want nothing to do with it.
But now we chasing it for clout.
Yeah, status. Yeah. And make, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to have a certain look. And that look can cost you. You get
life.
Yeah. Yeah. Because see, the thing about it, when you go in certain areas around certain cats, I don't care where you from and what urban area, if you really got a piranha around there with shark, they gonna sniff you out. Yeah. They gonna sniff you out. That's just but that's the unfortunate side about it. But it made me the person I am today, man. Real talk. It helped.
Right.
It helped.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you feel about drill music?
I don't fuck with it.
Really?
Well, I'm tell you something. You tell me another race, whether it's Polish, whether it's white, Chinese, Hispanic, Asian, Jewish, that over 70 to 80% of their music is about fucking you up, killing you, fucking your bitch, fucking the ops wife, you ain't shit. That's all we do.
I got more money than you.
Yeah, so this drill music, like, folks, all we talking about is knocking each other off and shit. So
it's death music.
I mean, to me, like, we the only people that do that and perpetuate that bullshit, for real. Like, I don't fuck with no shit like that. My rotation, man, I listen to like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Dave East, it's another little chubby dude up out of Cali and shit. What's Laura? What's his name?
I'm trying to think. The main one I've been listening to out of Cali is Larry June right now.
No, he just got on tour with T-Pain.
Not Simba.
No, Simba cool too. I fuck with Simba too.
Okay.
Sincere.
Okay.
It's a couple of them cats, you know what I'm saying? But I fuck with niggas that got lyrical content,
Some depth to them.
Yeah, just talking about something, but all that old. Now, when did we start going to 4-bar verses and 8-bar verses?
Should have known better. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's why you gotta have that watch. You stop all ringing.
No, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm listening.
Yeah, but no, I don't care for it. I ain't knocking it. If you like it, you like it. You like what you like, but I don't gotta like what you like. You dig what I'm saying? I like putting salt and pepper on my rice. You might like putting sugar. I ain't saying that's wrong, but
it's not your flavor.
Right, it's not my flavor. I don't fuck with it though. I ain't knocking the niggas, man. Get y'all money and shit, but I ain't trying that shit.
That's real. So I mean, how do we? This is the main thing I feel like. As far as hip hop goes, Sedgwick and Cedar, this is something that the ghetto youth, Black and Latino, started. And it spoke to freedom, it spoke to justice.
Back then.
Yes, I'm about to get to that. I guess my thing is, now I feel like hip hop has been weaponized against the very people who started it. And I feel like it's become a corporate tool. And I think I remember somewhere I read something about how a lot of these record labels start investing in prisons.
Well, I'm being honest with you. If I had a few million to fuck off, I'd invest in prisons where these niggas out here can. That's why I know I got a secure goddamn motherfucking stream of income.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Bob Barker from The Price is Right.
I already know where you're going with it.
He used to, even back in the fucking 90s, he was like monumental for the whole prison industry. He used to design shit with bars of soap, toothpaste, toilet paper, Bob Barker. You know what I mean? So I'm not mad at, listen, man. I am not, if you like it, I love it. You dig what I'm saying? Right. That's just like when I was working in the barber shop. Okay. Everybody says the Willie Lynch letter. Everybody talking about the Willie Lynch letter. Motherfuckers have read that cover to cover. Yeah. Recited. Okay, so these white folks done gave you the playbook on what they gonna do.
And we still on the dumb shit.
Why we ain't doing the counter Willie? But y'all always want to spend a topic of discussion of talking about this old bullshit, and y'all spend 30 minutes to 3 hours talking about it. And I ain't seen nobody spend 30 seconds on the solution to the Willie Lynch problem. You tell me out of one conversation that you heard motherfuckers discussing that shit, you heard motherfuckers say, okay, y'all, now this is how we gotta stop it. Never, ever.
And that's a beautiful point, because I guess the thing is, like, one of the fundamentals of the art of war is know your enemy, know yourself. Facts. Your enemy is literally showing you what they're doing to defeat you. And we still are on the fuck shit. But I guess I feel like, I know everybody, some people get mad when I say this, but our mindset has gone through a whole long conditioning process.
Well, yeah.
And it's going to take a couple generations.
So let me tell you something, man. White folks, I'm going to tell you something. We'll never be able to match the evilness of white people, because they're diabolical to the point where they strategically have, if black folks were a computer, they put a virus in that motherfucker, man, that they had us fucked. And oh my God, G. And they got all types of malware in that motherfucker. And every time we come and try to fix it, they mutate that shit. They got some hackers fucking us up at all times. Black folks is a computer, man. The virus was programmed from the light skin to the dark skin, from the house to the field. Yeah. All that is viruses that they implement, and in them seeds, even modernized, when you watch School Days, you know what I'm saying, they amplified it. And then, wow, it's I don't know, man, we never.
Can I add on to what you just said?
Sure,
okay.
Piggyback on that.
I'm in the fraternity. I graduated from Georgia State. Started my college career at Tougaloo College in HBCU in Mississippi, but I finished at Georgia State. I'm in a fraternity. And I even saw, I guess, relics of white supremacy, or how it affected us on a fraternal level. Okay. Like, even with my organization, you had something called the ruler test.
Okay.
And this is like maybe like in the 30s, 40s. If your nose was beyond a certain width, right, they wouldn't let you in the organization. You had the paper bag test. If your skin was of a certain hue, you couldn't. Yeah, so I guess my thing is we're dealing with white supremacy on so many levels. Even the so-called black people who are educated, the black people who made it, right, they're still fucked up.
Oh, they are. But I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, some of the motherfuckers that I've met with the master's degrees and all that, they are book smart but life dumb.
Can you say it again?
Book smart but life fucking dumb. I mean,
bars.
First of all, it's really it's so fucked up because they got it misconstrued. You can't. That's just like they're the equivalent to a person that was in the military for 30 years, and when you come out, you think everybody's gonna drop and give you 20 and shit, motherfucker. This is the real world. You know what I'm saying? That shit ain't flying here, and I ain't no recruit. Right. I gotta sit up and take this bullshit advice from you because you my superior. That's how people who got all these degrees, I got a master's and all that. Yeah, that's book knowledge, but in real life, you fucked up.
Right.
You fucked up.
I want to say something. There's he was I want to say he was an astrophysicist, and he was a college professor. His name was Isaac Asimov. Okay. Isaac Asimov. He said education is something you never finish.
Right. No, that's a fact.
Yeah, so, and I guess what I'm saying is, like, despite the book knowledge you have, information steadily is becoming more vast and growing. There's literally information that we have now that's not applicable. Well, there's information from the past that is not applicable to the now. It has to be discarded. So we have to be in tune with the ebbs and flows of what's going on now. You know, so there's never. I'm gonna quote Dr. John Henry Clark. He said, "Whatever you do well, whatever you do best, you do it for your people."
Right.
There is no "I'm better than them. I done passed these niggas." Like, no, it don't work like that.
No.
Any education you have, any information you have, you need to use that in service to your people. And I think it was I'm paraphrasing, but at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they have a saying where with education, you're obligated to make the world a better place. Okay, so
That's a no-brainer.
yeah,
In my opinion. I mean, like, even in your quest to do anything for the betterment, what they say what comes with responsibility.
yeah.
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 You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So I think, like, even when guys, when you start a business, I think you got an obligation to see some people and bring them up and make it what they can provide. You know what I'm saying? And then not only to bring them up, man, I try to look for. I try to seek out people, man, that's all about growth.
Always.
But you got a lot of people out here that are in disguise. You know, and it's not so much about faking until you make it. A lot of cats, you know, they be in the mirror and they practice. And they get this shit down to a damn science, and it's fucked up. So sometimes it takes a lot to be able to decipher who's who.
You can only pretend for so long.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, our society, us, myself, no, I ain't.